The Heavy Demolitions Guardsman. To put it simply, it is a utility loadout, not a kill-everything loadout. Think specifically the Thief class, or archetype in any RPG game. Not to be confused with the Assassin class, or archetype. The Thief is not useful because it can slay dragons, or slaughter an entire village of goblins. It is useful because the Thief can disarm traps, and unlock 300-pound iron chests, or doors. The point is not for being a murder hobo. The point is making adventuring a profitable business. In the same mindset, this Helldivers Guardsman loadout is not for being a murder hobo. It's for destroying objectives and sub-objectives so everyone on the team can get medals and contribute towards liberating a planet. I'm going to start with the equipment before the stratagems. The armor is just for visualization. You can use whatever armor you want without lowering its effectiveness. However, it wouldn't be right thematically if you don't use Cadian armor. The Helldivers version of the last gun is mid, dare I say, even subpar. It simply does not do anything new or different than any other rifle. The whole point of laser technology guns is to reduce weight and treat the magazines like AA batteries. When your entire planet is invaded by a billion orcs, robot mummies, demons, etc., travel and communication to other planets become impossible. When your supply chain is completely cut off, having a standard issue rifle that can be recharged like batteries is just the obvious choice when your bullet makers are being eaten alive or having their souls sucked from their bodies, and every man, woman, and child is expected to pick up a laser rifle and hold the line. Now that you understand the concept, you understand my disappointment in the Helldivers version of the last rifle. It's just boring. Players simply cannot enjoy or experience the convenience of rechargeable battery guns. If you could build a last gun and a survival crafting game, then everyone would automatically understand the convenience of laser guns without me explaining it. With that in mind, I suggest the Jar 5 Dominator, only because it matches the theme. Otherwise, you can use whatever primary you want. The bolter pistol is basically a utility tool. When you are fighting 1,000 enemies every mission, it's just not practical to use a 30-round gun. However, it is practical for shooting down gunships, which normally took a stratagem weapon to reliably take down, and most importantly, destroying the annoying laser beam turrets and lightning towers and watchers on the illuminate front. Basically only use it for enemies that take 1 or 2 shots to take down, and for enemies that spawn in the dozens, not the hundreds. Otherwise, just use a machine gun or rocket launcher equivalent weapon. The Melta mine is basically garbage. I'm not a fake person. I don't hype the newest product or service. I don't do fake smiles and laughs for ad revenue. I don't care if I get negative comments for personally attacking someone else's hobby, as long as the anti-tank mine stratagem exists. 4 Melta mines are just unpractical when you have to kill 100 tank enemies every mission. Instead, I would use the dynamite grenades for sub-objectives that require a demolition force of 40 or more, like bioprocessors and Titan-sized bug holes. I also hate that I have to aim for God just to have the strength to throw the Melta mine 5 yards away. The Melta gun is basically a melee range weapon. It is objectively worse than every other anti-tank support weapon, and only slightly better than the boomstick and chainsaw. I would use it for destroying fabricators. 50 shots with a supply backpack means you can handle all the spawn closets by yourself without relying on grenade throwing skills or red stratagems. If you have to use it on tanks, then on tier 1 tanks like the Hulk and Charger, aim for the head, since in most situations you'll never see their backside weak spot. For tier 2 tanks like the Factory Strider and Titans, run under or beside their belly and aim for their belly weak spot. Standing in front of them will always get you killed. The aliens do not believe in armor, instead they have a stupid amount of health that you have to literally or metaphorically burn through. Anti-tank weapons are not recommended since you don't need as much armor penetration to deal with the squids. On a side note, the only anti-tank weapon you need is the recoilless rifle, since machine gunning it with assisted reloading is the only practical way to blow up Leviathans. Every other method is just a waste of time and effort. Personally, I don't like stratagems or methods that require 2 players just to do damage. But for Leviathans, it's the only way to deal with the first enemy, designed not to be killed, and instead, designed to force players to run and hide. Under normal circumstances, you should be using your anti-tank mines and rocket sentry to deal with tanks, and then use your melta-gun to finish off whatever survived. Unfortunately, the melta-gun is subpar, and only shines in missions where the resupply stratagem is just not available, such as commando operations and cave worlds. It is the only anti-tank support weapon that does not rely on a super destroyer to have enough ammo to keep up with the tank spam. Otherwise, it's just useful if you don't want to fight your own teammates just to get anti-tank ammo.